Yo, what's going on, guys? So, with it being July, and knowing that we're going to see Halo Infinite gameplay later this month, I wanted to make this video giving you guys my final predictions on what I feel like Halo Infinite's gameplay will most likely be like. Whether it's like Halo 5, or Classic Halo, or something else, I want to discuss all the different possibilities that 343 could take Halo Infinite's gameplay. Well, at least the most likely possibilities. And before we get into it, I just wanted to say, for those of you who don't know, Xbox has announced that they're holding an event from July 21st to July 27th called Summer Games Fest. Basically, you'll be able to demo a bunch of games from the Xbox dashboard. This is kind of supposed to act as a replacement for E3 since that got canceled due to the Rona. I believe we're going to get demos for over 60 different games. And some of these games are still early in development, so that's pretty cool. You'll be able to demo a game when it's not even close to being finished. And it is possible that we could get some kind of Halo Infinite demo during that week, because we know that 343 is going to be flighting Halo Infinite at some point. It's possible they could do it during that week, July 21st to July 27th. That's possible, but we don't know. Or maybe we'll get some small kind of demo, like one campaign mission during that week, and they'll flight Halo Infinite later this year. We don't know. It's also rumored that on July 23rd, Xbox is going to be showcasing a bunch of their first-party games, which that will include Halo Infinite. That's when we're most likely going to be seeing Halo Infinite gameplay. The rumor is July 23rd. I think that's pretty likely, but I don't think it's confirmed yet. So yeah, we don't know exact dates, but we do know we're going to be seeing Halo Infinite gameplay this month. We made it. We're here. We're in July. Okay, we just gotta wait a couple more weeks. But you know, it would be nice to get some dates set in stone, because right now it's still all speculation. Like, we don't know 100% which day we will be seeing Halo Infinite. We don't know this. Also, Halo 3 on PC. We know it's probably gonna be soon, but we don't know when that's launching either. And you know, some people who work want to take off for these events, but they need to know which day these events are going to take place so they can take off. And you know what's really funny, but is actually not funny at all? Over a year ago, I booked a vacation for this month, for a particular week within this month. And that's the week where we're most likely going to be seeing Halo Infinite gameplay. And that week, there's also a very good chance that Halo 3 on PC launches that week as well. So, you know, when it comes to gaming, I don't care about a lot of things. I just care about Halo. Like, I'm not a gamer. I'm really not. Without Halo, I'd probably barely play video games. I'm not a gamer. I just care about Halo. I mean, yeah, I dabble in other games here and there, but it is mainly Halo. So Halo is the one gaming franchise that I really care about. And you mean to tell me I booked a vacation over a year ago, and the week of my vacation is the week that we're going to be seeing Halo Infinite gameplay, and quite possibly getting Halo 3 on PC. We've been waiting to see Halo Infinite gameplay for years, and it has to be on that week. Halo 3 is my favorite game of all time by far, and it has a good chance at launching on that week. I swear, like, unfortunate shit like that happens all the time to me. I mean that's obviously not one of the worst things in the world, but I'm just saying, like, things where you might say to yourself, oh, what are the odds of this happening on this particular week? You know, what are the chances? And the chances of that happening seem to be damn near impossible. But then it happens. Yeah, that type of shit occurs so much in my life. So much. Like, and some would just say, oh, it's just a coincidence. Just a coincidence. Well, here's my rule. It's only allowed to be a coincidence the first 100 times. After the first 100 times, it's not a fucking coincidence anymore. There's something else at play here. I don't know what, I don't know who, I don't know how, but it can't just be a coincidence every fucking time. Like, if it just started raining every single time you said it was gonna rain, like you say it's gonna rain, and then that second, boom, starts raining, would you just say that's a coincidence every single time? Or would you think to yourself, okay, there's got to be something else going on here. I can't explain it. I don't know how, but there has to be something else going on here. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Some of the most unfortunate shit happens. The most impossible shit happens. So often. And I am not, it's not a coincidence anymore. It's not allowed to be a coincidence anymore. There's something else going on. So, with all that being said, let's get into this. What do I think Halo Infinite's gameplay is most likely going to be like? So, I kind of have this list in my head of what I believe to be the most likely possibilities for Halo Infinite's gameplay, and we're going to go through them right now. So first off, you have enhanced mobility. And when I say enhanced mobility, I'm thinking Halo 5. I think, for the most part, we're probably done with how we saw abilities in Halo 4 and Halo Reach, where it was a part of your loadout and you could choose which ability. Hold on, there's a fucking gnat. Oh, I got it. See? Killed the little gnat. It's all blurry, but yeah. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So first off, you have enhanced mobility. And when I say that, I'm thinking Halo 5's gameplay, where you spawn in with 7 different abilities. I think it was 7 different abilities in that game. Yeah, everybody in the game spawns in with all the abilities. I think we're done with how we saw abilities implemented in Halo Reach and Halo 4, where it was a part of your loadout and you could choose which ability you wanted to spawn into the game with. So if they do go the enhanced mobility route, I think it'll be similar to how Halo 5's gameplay was. The second possibility is classic Halo. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. This is what I want, this is what many others want, and I think that would be best for Halo. The third possibility would be a hybrid of both classic and enhanced mobility. Similar to the mythic settings we've seen in Halo 5. To those of you who don't know, a little while back there was a playlist for Halo 5 called, I think it was Mythic Arena? Mythic Slayer? I think it was Mythic Arena, something like that. It was a ranked playlist. And basically in this playlist, the only abilities you had were thrust and stabilize. All other abilities, including sprint, disabled, gone. You just had thrust and stabilize. Now, many people really enjoyed these settings. I made a video on this a while back. I enjoyed it as well, but for me, completely classic Halo is still the way to go. Because, yeah, I agreed, Mythic Slayer, the Mythic settings were much better than Halo 5's default settings with all the abilities, but I still prefer classic Halo. I'm still not a huge fan of thrust and stabilize at all. And you know, I really enjoyed this playlist when it first came out, and that's what I said in my video I made about it. But after playing it for a longer period of time, I kind of started to despise it because, for one, I wasn't a huge fan of the maps. Also, the starting weapon in that playlist was the Halo 2 BR in Halo 5. And the thing about that BR is the bullet spread is so tight. It might as well be a DMR because the bullet spread is so tight. The bullet velocity is very fast and there's a lot of bullet magnetism. So it is really easy to hit your shots, especially at longer distances. And I just felt like I was getting melted, man. Like I was dying faster than I do in Call of Duty. Shit, I can take more shots playing Halo 3 SWAT than I could in the Mythic playlist in Halo 5. It felt like I was playing SWAT at times. Because one person could melt you. You're getting shot at by 2 people? You don't stand a chance unless their aim is completely trash. But you know, to be fair, I think the people who created the Mythic settings would have adjusted things with how the starting weapon performs, like bullet velocity, spread, magnetism, things like that, if they had the control, if it was possible. But obviously you can't adjust things like that in Halo 5, so they did the best with what they were given. But anyways, a lot of people do think that's what Halo Infinite's gameplay is going to be like the Mythic settings and Halo 5, which is kind of a hybrid between classic Halo and enhanced mobility. And I'm not totally against that idea. I do think that is possible. I mean, it would be much better than full-on enhanced mobility, but like I said, I think Classic Halo would be best for Halo. And I know there's plenty of people who enjoy both, enhanced mobility, Classic Halo. It doesn't really matter to them whether the game has sprint or not. I understand that, but for a lot of the hardcore Halo fans, people that have been playing Halo since Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, the first 9 years of Halo, which was Classic Halo, once you throw in abilities and sprint, it significantly changes the game. Whether you realize it or not, it does significantly change the game. Like, a lot of the people who don't understand the hate for sprint, I don't think they truly understand how much it actually changes the game. They just think, oh, you just run a little bit faster. It's not that big of a deal, but it is a very big deal. I made a video a little while back. I think the title was Abilities Ruin Halo or something like that, where I go in and I discuss a little bit about how the abilities do change the gameplay. And if you want to watch that video, you can check it out. I think I uploaded it like 2 months ago or something like that. But yeah, whether you're aware of it or not, the implementation of abilities into Halo has significantly changed the way the game plays. And I believe it would be best for Halo to return to its roots. Classic Halo, Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. The first 9 years of Halo was classic. And then all of a sudden we just threw in all these abilities with Halo Reach and Halo 4 and Halo 5. Out of nowhere, all these abilities, throw them into the game after 9 years of classic Halo. That is fucking insanity. Get them out. And it's even more insane that so many people have been expressing their frustrations with abilities ever since Halo Reach, and they're still in the game. In Halo Reach and Halo 4, you could only have, in Halo Reach, you could only have one ability. In Halo 4, everybody had sprint, and you could pick an ability to go along with it. And then in Halo 5, everybody spawns in the game with 7 abilities. It's gotten worse. People have been complaining about abilities since Reach, and it's gotten worse with each Halo game. How? How is that even possible? Now, the fourth possibility, and some of you might think this is kind of a stretch, but I don't think it is. I think this is possible. I've heard a lot of people suggest this, and I don't know, 343 might have listened to the feedback, who knows? But I think it's possible that Halo Infinite's gameplay is classic Halo with abilities on the map, similar to equipment in Halo 3. I wouldn't count that out. I do think that is possible. There's a good chance of that. And honestly, I wouldn't be totally against that at all. I mean, if it's on the map, that's much better than everyone just spawning into the game with 7 abilities like you do in Halo 5. Like, I'd rather a jetpack be placed on the map and 2 teams have to fight over it to gain control of it, rather than just spawning into the game with a jetpack like you could in Halo 4 and Halo Reach. And same thing goes for sprint. Put that ability on the map. That's much better than everyone in the game spawning in with sprint. Like, if me and my team don't want the other team to sprint, well, let me deny them access to the sprint ability. It's on the map and I can defend it. I can control it so that the other team can't have it. That would be so much better. And you know, when I think about it, I don't really see an ability like sprint being an ability that they would place in the middle of the map and both teams would fight over it like you would overshield or a rocket launcher or a snipe. If they were to place an ability like sprint on the map, I think it's more likely that would be something they place on each side of the map in each base, and it's something that a player on each team would pick up when you spawn rather than it being placed in the middle of the map. But again, abilities on the map really isn't such a bad thing. It's really not, and it's a hell of a lot better than spawning into the game with 7 different abilities. And maybe once you pick up these abilities, maybe it's a limited time use, right? Maybe you have the sprint ability for, I don't know, like a minute or 2 minutes, who knows? Maybe it has a time limit on it. Or maybe you pick up the thrust ability and you're only allowed to thrust 10 times. Or maybe it also has a time limit on it, like another 2 minutes. And once the 2 minutes are up, it's done. I don't know. I don't know exactly how they would do it, but I do think there is a chance that that's how they go about implementing abilities into Halo Infinite. They put them on the map as pickups, like equipment in Halo 3. And the fifth and final possibility for the direction I think 343 will take Halo Infinite's gameplay is kind of a mix of two things I've already discussed. I do think it's possible they will go the route of the Mythic settings from Halo 5, a hybrid of classic enhanced mobility, but also have abilities on the map as well. So, like I said, it's kind of a mix of the two things I've already touched on, but I do think there's a chance of that as well. So instead of Halo Infinite being the Halo 5 Mythic settings, or being straight up classic Halo with abilities on the map, I do think they might mix the two, and you might spawn into the game with two abilities like thrust and clamber, and maybe stabilize as well. But then there will also be abilities on the map, such as sprint, ground pound, a grappling hook. And honestly, now that I think about it, that's something I forgot to mention that kind of supports this idea. The grappling hook. I don't know how many of you are aware of that leak, but in one of 343's, I think it was one of their promotional videos they put out, there was a little clip where you could see an icon on a player's screen, and it appeared to look like a grappling hook. And I even think there were some leaks that came out, which who knows how credible they actually were, but I think in the leaks they discussed how the grappling hook might be like a limited time use type of thing. But yeah, if that is true, if there is a grappling hook in Halo Infinite, that does seem like something they would put on the map and you would pick it up rather than everyone spawning into the game with a grappling hook, like how you spawn into Halo 5 with all the abilities. Yeah, grappling hook seems like something that is more likely to be placed on the map. So if they're going to place that on the map, then they might place other abilities on the map. So again, I do think there is a good chance that is what they do with Halo Infinite. And since I brought up the grappling hook, there's another thing I'm going to discuss real quick, and I think it was shown in that same video. There was a part where you could see a player's screen, and on screen there was a Spartan first person, and he appeared to begin like a sprinting animation, and it wasn't a sprinting animation from any other Halo game, because you could tell, and people are assuming this was Halo 5 gameplay. Honestly, it could have been anything, but that was kind of alarming for some people because they saw that Spartan sprinting and they were like, oh shit, sprint's gonna be in Halo Infinite. They were kind of worried, but here's how I look at it. If 343 did make the decision to go back to classic Halo for Halo Infinite's multiplayer, its matchmaking, I would still expect there to be sprint in the campaign and in custom games. And hell, even if they were going to do classic Halo, they would have at least tested sprint. Okay, so the fact that we saw what appeared to be a Spartan sprinting, and which people are assuming is Halo 5 gameplay in that video, that's not too alarming to me whatsoever. Now, honestly, do I think Halo Infinite will have sprint in the multiplayer? I don't know, man. It's really hard to imagine 343 ditching sprint. That is undoubtedly what's best for the game, but like, would they do it? Will they actually do that? I don't know. I don't know. But at the same time, I really can't see them keeping sprint around. After all the backlash that it's gotten over the years, sprint has gotten so much hate. At this point, there is no fucking way. There's no way they can keep sprinting. No. Honestly, no. I do not think Halo Infinite will have sprint as a default ability, meaning you spawn in and you can sprint at any given time. I don't think that's how they'll implement sprint into Halo Infinite, if they implement it at all. If anything, I think it'll be an ability that is placed on the map that players can pick up, and it might be a limited time use. Who knows? And actually, I almost forgot, there is actually one more prediction I had for Halo Infinite's gameplay. So there is one more on the list, and that is, I think 343 could do both. They could do both classic Halo and enhanced mobility for Halo Infinite. I do think there is a possibility of that as well. They might have some playlists that feature classic Halo and other playlists that feature enhanced mobility. But honestly, I'm not too keen on this idea. I don't think you should be splitting the game and its community by what is supposed to be default player mechanics. Like, for the most part, I think the core player mechanics should be the same across all the playlists, besides things like Action Sack or a Living Dead playlist. That I'm fine with you throwing in some abilities and mixing it up. But you know, your snipers, SWAT, Team Slayer, FFA, Big Team Battle, Team Doubles, all of that, I think the player mechanics should be the same across them all, whether that's Enhanced Mobility or Classic. But at the same time, I feel like 343 would piss the least amount of players off if they did actually do both Enhanced Mobility and Classic. If they did have playlists for both. A Classic Slayer playlist and an Enhanced Mobility Slayer playlist. Maybe they call it Spartan 2 Slayer and then Spartan 4 Slayer, because obviously Spartan 2's was Classic, and then Spartan 4's and Halo 5 you had all the abilities. They could do that. I don't know. But, you know, I think they'd piss the least amount of people off, because if they just go with Classic Halo, well, then the Enhanced Mobility players are going to be upset. If they go with Enhanced Mobility, then people who want Classic Halo are going to be upset. If they go with a hybrid of the two, the Mythic settings, then you might piss off both communities, both Classic and Enhanced. But if you have both, it may not be ideal, but hey, Enhanced players can play their Enhanced Mobility Halo, and Classic players get their Classic experience. So everybody's happy. I mean, I'd rather them have separate playlists for both Classic Halo and Enhanced Mobility, rather than no Classic Halo at all in the matchmaking. But again, at the same time, I would prefer for the core player mechanics to stay the same across all the playlists, besides fun, goofy playlists like Action Sack. So those are my thoughts. That's my predictions on what I think is most likely the direction 343 will take Halo Infinite's gameplay. But out of all those different options, if I had to pick one, just one, that I think has the best chance of turning out to be Halo Infinite's gameplay, I'd have to go with the hybrid. The Mythic settings with abilities placed on the map. So it might be like the Halo 5 Mythic settings where you spawn into the game with just thrust and stabilize abilities, maybe clamber as well. And then I think there will also be abilities placed around the map. Who knows which abilities, if there's going to be new abilities, if they're going to take some away from Halo 5, who knows. But that's what I'm thinking. I think everybody will spawn into the game with some abilities. I don't think you'll spawn in with sprint. I do not think that'll be a thing. But I also think there will be abilities placed around the map that you can pick up that might be a limited time use. Maybe that includes sprint. That's my prediction. So we'll be seeing Halo Infinite gameplay later this month, and I kind of want to see if I'm right. You know, I could be completely wrong. It could just be another Halo 5. They could surprise us all and do Classic Halo. Who knows? Who knows? We may actually not even find out during this gameplay reveal later this month. We might not actually find out. We might see a little bit of gameplay, but that still doesn't tell us exactly what the core mechanics are going to be. The core player mechanics are going to be for the matchmaking in Halo Infinite. Well, I guess we'll probably have to wait until they flight the game to figure that out. Well, actually, we'll probably know before they flight the game, but I don't think with this reveal later this month that it's going to tell us exactly what the matchmaking is going to be like for Halo Infinite as far as gameplay goes. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Let me know what you're thinking. Out of all the different possibilities that I listed off, which one do you think has the highest chance of being the way Halo Infinite's gameplay is? Or do you have a different idea, something that I didn't even mention? I'm praying for classic gameplay in Halo Infinite. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm definitely not holding my breath, haven't got my hopes up. It's probably not going to be classic, but I can be optimistic, right? So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.